But I have a bad feeling about this.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at some of the worst foreign dubs and subtitles, which got facts wrong or completely changed the meaning of a line.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
It's a significant scene in the franchise's first installment, but one that Malaysian audiences saw a slightly different version of. In that translation, the subtitles show Quirrell warning everyone about a tiny person instead of a troll, which honestly seems like far less of a threat.
Then you let the troll in.
Very good, Potter, yes.
Number 9. French translation errors and Castilian controversy. Roma. Netflix had a hit on their hands with Roma, which received a nomination for Best Picture at the Academy Awards and took home gold in the Best Foreign Language Film, Director, and Cinematography categories. Nonetheless, the film was not without its controversies, primarily due to issues with subtitling. Director Alfonso Cuarón criticized the streaming platform for providing subtitles specific to Castilian Spanish.
¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? Cleo, ¿estás bien? Sí. ¿Sí? ¿Qué tienes? ¿Querías hablar conmigo?
He argued that the Mexican Spanish captions should suffice, and pointed out that the Castilian translation even edited some lines to be more traditionally quote-unquote proper, changing mum to mother. This controversy inspired the French organization ATA to publish a list of issues with their regional translation as well, describing some of its more egregious errors as, quote, mistakes worthy of grade school children. Number 8. I Want to Be a Lawyer. Death Becomes Her. It can be easy to mishear dialogue, especially when an actor is putting on an accent.
May I say that I've always thought yours to be one of the most beautiful faces ever to grace the silver screen.
Unfortunately, in this case, a translator's misinterpretation resulted in a completely different line for Russian audiences. In Death Becomes Her, Liesl von Ruhmen implies that Greta Garbo may have been immortal, mimicking the actress with the quote,
I want to be alone.
Although this reference is immediately recognized by Madeline in the world of the film, it clearly went over the heads of the Russian crew tasked with making the film's dub, as the line was there changed to I want to be a lawyer.
Now a warning. Now a warning? Take care of yourself.
We can only imagine the audience's confusion as they attempted to guess which lawyer she could be referring to. Number 7. The tomato joke is lost in translation. Pulp Fiction. Even if you've never seen Pulp Fiction, you're likely familiar with one of the jokes that features in it.
Vincent, do you want to hear my Fox Force 5 joke?
Sure. Except I think I'm still a little too petrified to laugh.
A mama, papa, and baby tomato are walking down the street when the baby tomato begins lagging behind. Papa Tomato gets angry and squishes him, telling him to catch up.
Baby Tomato starts lagging behind, and Pop Tomato gets really angry, goes back and squishes him, says, ketchup.
Obviously in English, the joke here is that catch-up sounds like ketchup. It's a clever pun. But puns based on similar-sounding words and phrases are difficult to translate literally into other languages. While most translators would choose to replace a joke like this with a more culturally relevant pun, Germany decided to go the anti-humor route for Pulp Fiction. The line was left as is, meaning there was no punchline, just tomato violence.
Ketchup. See you around.
Number 6. Anna and Hans no longer finish each other's sandwiches. Frozen. Hans and Anna's mental synchronization did not seem to extend to Frozen's French translators.
Okay, can I just say something crazy?
I love crazy.
In Love is an Open Door, the two characters have a quirky exchange in which Hans says we finish each other's before being interrupted by Anna, who fills in with sandwiches rather than the expected sentences.
I mean, it's crazy.
What?
We finish each other's
Sandwiches.
That's what I was gonna say.
This is a fun wordplay joke that had previously featured in shows like The Simpsons and Arrested Development.
She's different. She's a little bit more like me. It's like we finish each other's
Sandwiches?
sentences. Why would I say
Sandwiches?
That time I was gonna say sandwiches.
Unfortunately, as we've learned, English wordplay can be difficult to express in other languages. Instead of coming up with a similarly alliterative joke, French translators opted to make Anna just respond with sentences. It doesn't ruin the purpose of the song, but we imagine Hans's surprised reaction doesn't make quite as much sense in this version. Number 5. Incorrect Chinese captions. Avengers: Age of Ultron. More often than not, poor translations happen because of difficult dialogue. Maybe a word doesn't exist in both languages, or a pun just wouldn't make sense. In the case of Age of Ultron, however, the Chinese subtitles are way off base, for seemingly no reason.
Shit! Language!
Instead of saying "I'm home," Captain America says "I'm good," and his uncharacteristic swearing towards the film's end is inexplicably translated as "my old familiar partner."
Fury, you son of a bitch. Ooh, you kiss your mother with that mouth?
Not only does this completely change the tone of the scene, but it ruins the payoff from an earlier exchange. China even changed Steve's words of advice.
You get hurt, hurt him back. You get killed, walk it off.
To the far less eloquent, run fast if someone tries to kill you. Number 4. Spain doesn't call him Shirley. Airplane. One of Airplane's most famous gags is an exchange between Ted Stryker and Dr. Rumack, in which Ted says, "Surely you can't be serious," and Dr. Rumack replies,
"I am serious, and don't call me Shirley."
As with all English wordplay jokes, this bit required some thinking on the part of translators. In Latin America, Spanish translators opted for "God, you can't be serious," and "I am serious, and I am not God." But the European Spanish translation dropped the ball.
You're the only chance we've got.
Rather than play with the line at all, they simply changed Rumack's response to "I am serious. I will repeat it if you want," completely upending the scene's unique humor. Number 3. You are a baboon and I am not. The Lion King. In its quest for authenticity, The Lion King features a wide array of African animals, many of which animators studied firsthand. One of the film's lesser-known animal stars is the meerkat, represented by Simba's friend and makeshift parental figure Timon.
You gotta put your past behind you. Look, kid, bad things happen, and you can't do anything about it, right?
Right.
Wrong!
Alas, the animal proved too obscure for Norwegian translators, who referred to the character as a marikot, the Norwegian word for a genon.
Who told you something like that?
Yeah.
What mook made that up?
If you're unaware, a genon is a type of monkey in the same scientific family as the baboon. The species is definitely smaller than, say, Rafiki, but is a far cry from what Timon actually is. Thankfully, translators would eventually fix their mistake with the release of The Lion King 1.5, which featured Timon in a more prominent role.
Well, now I'm convinced.
Number 2. A View to Tokyo? A View to a Kill. As James Bond's adversaries Max Zorin and Mayday enter San Francisco by air, Mayday looks out at the Golden Gate Bridge and remarks,
Wow. What a view.
Zorin then leans over her, finishing the statement with "to a kill." Given that this line serves as the English title of the movie, it seems like a no-brainer to translate it literally.
This'll hurt him more than me.
Sweden opted to go a different route. Without editing around the clear San Francisco landmarks in frame, Swedish translators changed Zorin's line to, Tokyo. The line is so brazenly wrong and strange that it's difficult to understand why and how it even came to be.
There's never a cab when you want one.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Inexplicable European Edits. The Star Wars franchise. Who could forget George Lucas's classic tale of romance and revolution, starring beloved characters Princess Leia, Ian Solo, and D3PO? Is what you might be saying if your only knowledge of Star Wars came from its Italian dub. A lot of the more well-known mistranslations of this franchise actually come from fan dubs, but official translators seem to have just as much trouble reinterpreting the popular space opera.
I have a very bad feeling about this.
In addition to Italy's inexplicable renaming of characters, France gave many aliens less compelling species names for seemingly no reason. The Tusken Raiders, for example, simply became Sand People. Meanwhile, Finland was subjected to some very literal dialogue translations, including a line where drill was changed to mean the tool rather than a word for a rehearsal. Have you ever come across any funny movie translation errors? Let us know in the comments.
Garçon, coffee.